Okay, so what I want to do today is talk about how important it is to protect your mental health. This has come up a lot in my sessions so far today, and as I'm sure you've gotten used to me saying, I don't believe anything is coincidence. I believe in themes. Um, and so if this is what's coming up for my clients in today's session, then I want to talk about it with everyone. It's probably something that we could all benefit from right now. So, can we also just say, sorry, I just have to say this for a second. Like, I cut my own hair last week, and because I have fairly curly hair, like, you could never know the difference of, like, if it turned out. Everyone kept asking me, like, how did it go? Like, I don't know. But I finally took a blow dryer to it to see like what actually happened, and I'm so proud of myself. I just want to say, like I'm like seeing myself right now. I'm just like, oh hey, it's not so bad. Um, and I'm definitely one of those people that like would never let anyone else touch my hair. I was like so intense about like only the same hairdresser almost my entire life because I was so scared. I'm like, hey guys, maybe it's not so bad. Um, so so I just wanted to be like, that's real. That happened. Thank you, Corona. Um, so actually, on that note, this is an amazing time to learn more about yourself. This is an amazing time to develop new skills, practical ones like cutting your hair, but more important ones like managing your emotions and staying centered. And so I want to talk about why I started the group Staying Centered Through Coronavirus because we talked about it like a month ago now. Um, and at the time, we didn't really have to get into the details. It was sort of obvious. Everyone was scared and having anxiety, and so we just jumped right in with like how can I help ease that right now and give you some tools. But here's the thing. Like we're a month in and the tools that I share and how I show up every day, calm and centered, is a lifestyle. And you need to be harnessing everything you can to stay centered for a number of reasons. First of all, it feels better. Okay? So it does. It feels better when we're being like hit on all sides and there's so much uncertainty and so many unknowns. Um, it feels better when you can calm down, when you do have tools to stay centered, right? That feels amazing. But it's also for your physical well being. So now that we've been in this for a while, I have to really convey the message that like everyone's physical well being um, needs to be a top priority right now. And your emotional well being directly impacts your physical well being. The longer we are in stress, the longer we are in fight or flight, which all of us are in, like it's just natural that that's what's happening right now. The longer you're in that place, the more long term damage gets done. So, I want to tell you a little bit about what happens. When we get stressed, when we have anxiety, when we are afraid, our cortisol, our stress hormone, jumps up. Okay? Now, we've talked about how cortisol weakens the immune system. I want to tell you everything else that cortisol does. Okay? Because it's an amazing hormone that protects you and is there for your survival, but it's there for your survival if you're, you know, God forbid at gunpoint or out in the wild and a lion is chasing you, right? So cortisol is amazing and is there to protect you. But over a longer period of time, it's a problem. And that's why it's so crucial that you do everything in your power, everything, to keep on top of your mental health right now and your emotional stability. So, what happens when cortisol is activated? Um, when cortisol is activated, the fight or flight response is activated. There's so many things that happen in the body. By the way, it's not just cortisol. There's other hormones as well. But there's so many things that happen in the body that are there to protect us, right? So if you need to run for your life, you don't have time to stop and use the restroom. So your digestive tract actually slows down. All of your digestive organs are kind of put on pause. Imagine that happens in an ongoing manner, that's getting dragged out. That's going to lead to some problems, right? So that's one. Another is all your hormones are out of balance, right? Because you can't afford to like be tired, right? You need to be super energized. You need adrenaline. You need adrenaline and you need it now so that you can run and keep running for who knows how long. So every day that we wake up in unknown, in uncertainty, in anxiety, in fear, in stress, we're activating that system. And guys, it's pretty dangerous, okay? So I'm not doing this to scare you. I want you to understand what's happening in your body and why it's so crucial to get on top of your mental health right now. There has truly, literally never been a more important time because that system that's being activated is every day telling your body, I am in danger, I am in danger, I am in danger. And when it's doing that, right? So first of all, we talked about now your immune system is weakened. Your digestive tract has been, and your digestive organs have been basically put on pause. Okay, so that's going to be a problem, right? If that goes on for too long, your nervous system shifts. So the things that it normally does to manage this body, it now shifts its actions. It shifts its mechanisms. Well, imagine that like your nervous system is very important. Your nervous system is first and foremost like the center of your ability to heal. It's so powerful. Secondly, your nervous system is your cognitive function. Your nervous system controls your musculoskeletal system, right? So that thing that just like automatically happens called walking is actually controlled by your nervous system, right? So if your nervous system is now out of balance because you're in fight or flight mode, then the basic things that you need for just day-to-day functioning are not going to be happening. So I've been hearing so many stories about like people having headaches all of a sudden. Perfectly healthy, normal people are having headaches, are having digestive issues, are having symptoms of dis-ease because we aren't at ease. So we're a month in, okay? We're a month in. And if I haven't made this point strong enough every single day of being live for the last month, I'm going to hit it home now because your body is now taking the hit for this extended for being in this place for so long, day after day after day. Okay, so it's not just here to scare you. Okay, I'm going to give you some tools, and you just open the Facebook group, Staying Centered Through Coronavirus. Open any of those videos from me, from Rabbi Schollklapper. Like, there's so many resources in there that you can access. Things that both of us have shared, and other facilitators have also shared. So you could literally, it could keep you busy for days of just managing your emotions, staying calm. So, but what I want you to be mindful of is first of all, this is not a time to hesitate. This is not a time to hesitate on like taking care of your mental health. So I've always heard so many people be like, I don't need to go to a therapist, I'm fine. That's how you stay fine. Going to a therapist is what keeps you normal and functioning, okay? It's not only for people who've experienced trauma. It's not for people who are broken or messed up. It's to keep us normal and healthy. That's what is so important about taking care of your mental health right now, okay? So don't hesitate. This is not a time to risk it. There are so many affordable mental health resources out there. And even if you're not like working in an ongoing way with a mental health professional, you could be listening to YouTube videos. It's just never been an easier time to learn how the breath can calm you down, to start to download a meditation app, to get an app that gives you positive affirmations every day, all day long. Like, just open YouTube and look for affirmations, and you could be there for days just listening to that. There's no reason you shouldn't be. None whatsoever. Your physical well-being is now depending on it, right? If this was a week in, maybe I wouldn't push this so much. But we're now a month in, and the cortisol, the ongoing fight or flight response that we're all experiencing, will start to have impacts, and I'm seeing it all around me, okay? And let me tell you, it's so much harder for me to help people heal after those symptoms are happening. Please do the preventative work, okay? I'm only one person. So do this. Take care of yourself now, okay? So in addition to doing everything you can outside of this space to take care of your mental health, because listening to me for 30 minutes a day is not enough, I want you to just be mindful of like conceptually how to approach this, okay? So if we look at it from our physiology, I find that feels much more tangible to people than like talking about feelings, for example. So if we think about it from a physiological perspective, you wake up, it's another day in lockdown, it's another day not knowing what's going to happen with income, job, family, whatever it might be, or just alone the fear of coronavirus, right? Notice that. First and foremost, become aware of how you're feeling. And know that in that moment, that even when we just first wake up in the morning, our cortisol has already spiked. So the best, most powerful way to prevent that chronic fight or flight response, okay, is to get in control of your mindset and get centered, which we always talk about, right from the morning, right from the beginning, okay? So there's a number of ways to do this. You might go into that Facebook group and say like, okay, this is one thing that I really loved. I loved this meditation. I felt so good when I did it. You may have seen us tapping a million times, just like at the beginning of this video. Maybe tapping is what it's going to be. I find the easiest way to start your day in a good place is gratitude. Start the day with gratitude. Studies show that it takes between 12 seconds and a minute to actually have a long-lasting effect on your mood. That's not so long. Like you can do that, right? Like you can do that. So I suggest, at least 18 seconds. Go for a minute. Just gratitude. Anything like, oh, I slept so well, finally. Or I love these sheets. My sheets are so soft. Or you know what? Thank God I do have a roof over my head. Thank God I don't have coronavirus, or that it's behind me. I already dealt with it and it's over, and that I recovered. They can be small things, they can be big things. I can see, I can speak. I have a phone to watch these things on live, right? And I really feel like you should not be getting out of bed until you've gotten into like a really good mindset. You want to feel powerful, you want to feel empowered, you want to feel calm. Okay, so maybe it's doing some breath work and just following your breath, just becoming aware of your breath for a few minutes. The point is that you have to start this in the morning, because if you open your phone and then you start to see the news, like we're already now going to have to start fighting an uphill battle, because now the cortisol is being released, and at that point you're going to have to try to negate it. Start from when you're in a clean slate, which is first thing in the morning, clean slate. You haven't opened anything yet. You haven't looked at anything yet. You haven't started your day yet. You're still in bed. From that place, access gratitude. Do that work. From that place, do a meditation. From that place, just follow the breath. Right? The breath is very powerful. And accessing the breath actually calms down the nervous system. It brings all of your systems into balance, just by taking slow, deep breaths and being mindful of your breath. Isn't that so powerful? Like anyone can do that, right? So let's say now you're going through your day. It's natural, given the stakes right now, it's natural that you started your day off strong and something came up and now you're feeling nervous. You're feeling some anxiety or some fear comes up, stress comes up. Just remember it's not just an emotion. The emotion is overwhelming 100%. But I want to remind you that there's also something happening physiologically. Your body is being impacted by this right now. So as that's happening, I want you to pause. I'm now telling all my clients as much as possible to do this. Like, stop throughout the day. Set an alarm if you have to, or know that like every hour at the top of the hour, or every half hour, or whatever it is, that you're pausing, even if it's just to breathe. Even if it's just to breathe. Get centered again, because then that pulls down the cortisol, that calms down the cortisol. Or maybe tap. You don't necessarily have to have words, and you don't necessarily have to suddenly have a breakdown to process the emotions right now. And we've talked about that, and I'm always a big fan of feeling your feelings, okay? But today is really just about understanding your physiology so that you know how much the stress can have a further impact, okay? I hope that doesn't happen. If it does happen, I've got programs for you. But um, I don't want you to all become my clients, okay? So what's more important to me is that you make it a habit to calm down your brain and your nervous system throughout the day. This isn't going to be a foolproof method. It's just, there's just too much right now, okay? But we have to start somewhere. We have to try something, okay? So, by the way, this is a big motivator. Another impact of cortisol is storing what's called adipose tissue, which is fat. So, if you'd like to not get overweight right now during all of this, you have to do this. Every hour, just stop, breathe, even if it's for a minute. Slow, deep breaths. Just bringing your awareness to the breath calms down the nervous system and you're rebalancing. It empowers, it strengthens the immune system. It's so powerful. So again, tapping does the same thing, a meditation does the same thing. It really only has to be for a few minutes, okay? It really only has to be for a few minutes. If you can't stop every hour, do it every couple of hours. Do it when you shift from one activity to the next. But we have to do everything in our power right now to calm down that cortisol response, that fight or flight response. Okay, this is, I don't know how else to emphasize this. I can tell you that from personal experience, ongoing stress like this has some pretty severe consequences. So I've just told you a few minor ones, but like, I've been paralyzed. Hi. Like that doesn't happen in a vacuum, okay? That's when the nervous system is just too out of whack. Okay, so I want you to have the tools right now during one of the most stressful times in human history that is occurring for all of us, right? In the past, it's been like maybe in pockets, people in war or whatnot are going through chronic stress, chronic fight or flight response, okay? Now the entire globe is going through this, okay, which means we feel it even more. We've talked about how we're all energetic beings and we're all experiencing each other as well. So right now, every day, doing what you can to keep your cortisol low, to soothe yourself. And again, you don't have to look far for tools, but I do highly recommend, like, there has never been a more important time to work with a mental health professional, to find a coach. There are online groups now. There's so much out there right now, okay? And there's a lot of facilitators in our Facebook group. If you can always reach out, or you can ask me and I'll make suggestions for you of some of the facilitators. So I hope I've made my point of how important this is. You know, people who have really mastered this have had to like go through hell first until they realize like, oh, I need to find ways to calm down my nervous system and to just feel like a person in the world, okay? I want you to have these tools now so that we can prevent that, like, having to go on a retreat or be on go into complete silence and meditation for 10 days straight before anything can calm down. Just make this a daily habit, make this a daily practice, and become aware of like, we don't have to have all the tools to manage our emotions. That's a very foreign concept for most of us. But we do just come into this aware, like we're all hearing about medicine and science all the time. It's natural to us that if I have pain, I can take ibuprofen and that will ease my pain, or take an anti-inflammatory, right? That's much more of a language we're used to. So I'm purposely using that approach so that you can understand, like, yeah, there's a stress hormone that's actually altering every system in your body, even the way your skin, okay, even the way your skin cells turn over every day is affected by this response. Okay, so if you start to notice that your skin looks and feels different, it's normal, it's okay. Like, that's a natural reaction to this level of stress hormones. And just even more so, throughout the day, you need to take moments to calm down that cortisol. Okay, calm down that cortisol. One of my teachers, Dr. Colby Foreman, said something so beautiful to me yesterday, and we'll have to find a time to bring him into the group and just have him share more about this. But he just said this line that I just loved. He said, life is an inside job. I loved that. Because it is. It's like, it's all about how we manage what's going on inside. That will be the make or break it of who we are in the world, what we accomplish in the world, our health, like everything. And we can do it now more than ever. It's more possible today to access these tools and to learn to stay centered. And someone commented in the Facebook group right now that, even after an hour of yoga, something can happen, and like that anxiety can feel like a spiral. That's really normal and natural, okay? That's why it's so important to get into this so it's like a habit, so that when all of a sudden anxiety kicks in, you're not even allowing that spiral to happen. You can cut it right away because you have so many tools at your fingertips, right? You have the meditation app. Okay, just open it, hit play. Um, you're having essential oils at home. We did a whole session on that. And you're accessing that and using that. You're tapping, even if you don't know the words, it's okay. Just picking a spot and going for it. Or just breathing, breathing. You have to interrupt that spiral as often as possible. And yes, it's true. You can meditate for an hour and then something else can hit right now, because it's just so powerful right now. But the more you practice this, that's why I said in the beginning, this is a lifestyle. So the more you practice this and get into the habit, it'll be easier and easier and easier and easier, right? So where like last week we did a whole meditation on how to remove yourself from the emotions and learn to look at them. Well, it's hard to remember that all the time, but if you keep practicing every single day, it will become natural. It'll become your natural go-to when all of a sudden like there's a million things to juggle or you're feeling a lot of anxiety. So I just want to emphasize again, this has to be a lifestyle, and it is so crucial. Like, it's a month into this now. Your body has been experiencing a release of intense cortisol for a month. We don't want to let that do any damage. We want to cut that right now. We want to interrupt that process immediately. And it just starts with breath. It starts with breath. It starts with gratitude. Gratitude is a super powerful way to bring down the adrenaline, to calm down the cortisol, to make your body feel amazing. Okay, gratitude is such a powerful emotion. So, yeah, and just watch this if you have to every single day. Literally, I'm like, I should really cut this and keep sharing it. Um, because we're just facing more than ever before, and people are already seeing the physical impact of that. So you can't afford to not take care of your mental health right now, and you deserve it. You deserve it. Like, honor that. Give yourself space for that. Again, it doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It doesn't mean that you're not healthy. It means that you're human, living through one of the most intense moments in history, where like every single moment is uncertain. Okay, I was reading a great article the other day where this woman was talking about how there's so much pressure right now, like to make the most of this time, um, and she pointed out like we are in constant trauma. We are in constant trauma. That's just the reality. Now, I don't like to use that as like as like an escape, or like to, oh, poor me, we're the victims because like we're going like this trauma, it's so hard. But more so to just help you understand that don't you deserve to have some support through that? Don't you deserve to take care of yourself through that? And, there are so many people who are out like jogging every day and lifting weights every day. And like, you have to take care of your mental health too. You absolutely have to. It's so, so, so crucial. It's just, yeah. So hopefully, that made the case of why staying centered through coronavirus is so crucial, that it's not just because it feels good, which it does. It feels better in those moments when you're actually in practicing something like this. But also because it's kind of saving your life. Like, I realize I'm making a big statement, but I really do believe that. And like, I read research on this every day, how much stress affects our arteries and how our emotions and how our mindset impact every system in the body, even how we process sugar. So learning these tools, especially like, let's just say someone watching this is diabetic, that's going to help your diabetes. So like, it's really a win-win. I can't see a reason not to do this. Except that, it feels more challenging, but um, it's worth it. I promise. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. It's amazing. Every time someone says, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm amazing." Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, "Oh, right. Other people are not feeling so amazing right now." Like, that doesn't just happen. That's not because, like, I'm, super optimistic. I'm very realistic. I am going through a very weird, challenging experience. Like, I have no idea when I can get home. I have to process that every day and then take the steps to make sure that I'm calming down any cortisol around that, any reaction around that, so that I send the signal to my nervous system that I'm safe and that I'm okay. And I keep reminding myself of that, even if it's not comfortable, even if it causes anxiety or feels like it's uncertain. I keep having to remind my body I don't have a gun to my head. I am not running for my life. I am safe right here, right now. And I just do that. And I just calm myself down. But that's why, for me, it's like I don't feel like I'm taking an emotional hit during this time because this is my lifestyle, because this is my everyday. And you need to make this your lifestyle. You need to make sure that throughout the day, you're doing something to calm down the nervous system and to just get your body back into balance. And again, like the two quickest, easiest, or three, you know what? I'll give you the three quickest, easiest things: breath, tapping, gratitude. Easiest things. What are three things you're grateful for? You can do that throughout the day. And just set that alarm. Like, just put it on your phone. Make sure you do it. Okay? So I'll be back here tomorrow and we'll see what I decide to talk about then. All right, I'll see you guys soon. And please, please, please take care of yourselves. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay home.